Hello, friends. Welcome to a quieter than usual episode of LonsTV. I'm recording it late night, so my girlfriend's sleeping in the back. I'm going to try to keep it down as best I can so we don't wake her. I wanted to hold it until a little later because it was a big office tonight, and I'm a fan. And it was the big premiere of Michael's movie, Threat Level Midnight, which they've been previewing, like talking about since early on in the show. I think it was a third season episode, second or third season, where they had a table reading of an earlier draft of the script for Michael's movie where he would play Michael Scarn. And then tonight we actually got to debut the film, and almost the entire episode was taken up with Michael's film, which he's been making over the course of years. And it was also a great, clever excuse for them to bring back some characters that haven't been on the show in a while. So on one level, it was a lot of fun. It was obviously like, red meat for the Office fans, just bring in old characters and make all these references to these bygone episodes. And so on that level, it was great. And you really do have to admire the audacity to put something together like this, which is elaborate and really silly and really out there, and only going to be for people who are really big fans of the show. Anyway, and it's a nice payoff. But on the other side, the whole thing really does reek of desperation. It's just starting to become very clear that, like, they really have not planned out where to take this. It feels like they got up to Jim and Pam are going to get married and have this baby, and then they really, like, it never occurred to them the show was going to keep going after that. And they've just been completely spinning their wheels. I mean, you had, like, this Andy Aaron story, which is really just a redo of the Dwight, Angela, Andy storyline they had going for years, and also basically a redo of the Jim and Pam storyline. And it's like all they've got is like two people in the office who really should be together, but they keep refusing to stubbornly, they won't admit that they like each other or something. And there's only so many times you can sort of play that out. So I feel like Jim and Pam getting married was like the first shark jumpy moment, but if that wasn't the total jump the shark moment, it was this. I mean, they're spending 30 minutes, like, no plot, no storyline, just like completely ridiculous out there, like fake spy movie shenanigans. I did think, again, it's another example of an episode where Ed Helms really stands out as, like, the funniest member of the ensemble this year. Between this and Cedar Rapids, he's really having quite a 2011, and he's been really good on this whole season of The Office, I think. So, there were a couple other characters that I probably like more than him in past seasons, but Andy's sort of taken over this year, and his whole bit is like Billy the bartender, and he's doing this really silly accent is really good. And it's also one more thing I'll mention is they're one of the few shows that I really feel like gets the net and social media and how to use the web to, like, add on to the show. You can go watch tomorrow. They're going to put the entire film within the show tonight, Threat Level Midnight, up on iTunes, and they've got an official site for it on the web. And it's just like The Office is always doing stuff like that. They're really good. Like, they've got these little web shows that are on between seasons where they do little bits that go on and have like little mini arcs with side characters. And it's weird to me that more shows haven't figured out how to integrate the web in just like small, it doesn't have to be super elaborate, just small clever ways that like enhance the show beyond the borders. Parks and Recreation, there's one great bit that one of the characters, Ron Swanson, like at night he is this jazz musician named Duke Silver, and Duke Silver has his own website. But other than that, I'm hard pressed to think of other shows that use the web as well as The Office does. Moving on, the main thing I want to talk about today is a film that Farrell reviewed it on our show This Week in Movies a while back, and I'd never gotten around to watching it, and I just watched it. It's called Afterlife. It's actually called After.Life. I'm not sure why they did it instead of just Afterlife. Maybe because there's a bunch of other movies called Afterlife, and Clint Eastwood had that Hereafter one, and they thought it was too similar. So it's After.Life, which is weird. It is available on Netflix streaming, so if it sounds intriguing to you, and if you are a pervert, it may very well sound intriguing to you, so stay tuned. So it's Christina Ricci and Liam Neeson and Justin Long, so a decent cast. It never went to theaters at all. It went directly to DVD and Blu-ray and streaming, I believe. I never heard about it going to theaters, so I'm assuming it did not. And I figured I'd watch it because it's got Liam Neeson, and The Unknown is one of our movies for this week that I'm going to go see, so, what the hell. On the plus side, it does know that it is sleazy and campy. So it's better to see a movie that's sleazy and campy and it's a little self-aware about being sleazy and campy and kind of plays it up instead of a movie that's really taking itself very seriously. There are times it's taking itself seriously, but then it also will give you a wink like, yeah, we know how trashy this is. So I appreciated that. The plot is Christina Ricci is, I believe her name is Anna. She's a teacher. She's in a car crash right at the beginning of the movie, and then she wakes up and she's in the mortuary, and Liam Neeson is the mortician, and he's working on her. And he says, like, oh, you're dead. I have magical powers, and I can speak to the dead. Everybody else would see you in just your dead body. And you have to mentally prepare because in 3 days I'm going to bury you, and, you're going to have to, like, move on from this plane and spend the next 3 days here with me, mentally getting yourself ready for the inevitable. So the whole movie is over those course of those 3 days, and you're sort of there's one mystery really at its core, which is Liam Neeson telling the truth? She's dead, and he's the only one that can talk to her, or is she not really dead and he drugged her? He's manipulating her somehow, and he plans to rape her or bury her alive or do something nasty to her at the end of these 3 days, and like he's just messing with her. And there's like, it's one of those things where the whole movie is really just this one argument over and over again, and then they keep trying to like give you a little hint that it's one thing and then a little hint that's the other. Like Justin Long plays Christina Ricci's boyfriend, and he shows up and Liam Neeson won't let him see the body. So you're like, oh, he won't let her see the body. But then like a cop comes in and does see the body, and she's clearly just dead. So it's like, but he did see the body and nothing happened. So, it's always just doing that, and it becomes clear after a while, like, it's never going to be like a real satisfying conclusion, and it isn't. And there's nothing worse at the very end of a movie when it's been doing this, like toying with you the whole time, just jerking you around back and forth, and it's just like, and now you don't really ever know. I mean, I don't want to give a spoiler, like, there's an ending, but it's not that satisfying, and you don't really feel like it's a good enough payoff to have been kind of had your chain jerked around. A movie it reminded me of, this other movie I'm going to bring up is worse, but K-Pax with Kevin Spacey and Jeff Bridges, where the whole movie is both realities could be true. He could be an alien, or he could be a crazy person who just has a really good, airtight story about being an alien. And then the movie ends, and you never really feel like you got a satisfying answer, and it's like, well, what's the point then? I will say, really beyond the central mystery, what the movie is really about is necrophilia. Everybody in the movie, basically Christina Ricci, because she's a corpse and she's being dressed for funeral, is essentially naked for the entire movie. And I mean very revealingly nude in the entire movie. Interestingly, I was reminded of, she plays a lot of roles like this, where it's like this very like dominant, either she's sexually dominating somebody or she's being sexually dominated. There's a lot of scenes that are reminiscent of Black Snake Moan, where she's also like naked and being held by a powerful man against her will, but the man is saying he's doing it for her own good. It's the same dynamic in both movies. So she's very, very nude for this entire movie, and it's just like in this sleazy way. Like Justin Long, the boyfriend, keeps trying to like break into the mortuary to see her, and there's a weird like erotic element. He keeps having these dreams about her where they're in bed, and then Liam Neeson's like hanging out with her, and she's naked for the whole movie, and you think maybe he's got her there, like, he's holding her against her will. You think maybe she's not dead. Like, it's obviously perverse. And then there's another scene where a cop is in there with her, and Liam Neeson leaves the room, and the cop gropes her boob. Like, and he clearly thinks she's dead. So it's like, the whole movie just is this obsession. Like, I can't figure out what it's really trying to say other than, like, it is a female director. Like, she thinks all men want to have sex with corpses, I think. That really does seem to be the perspective of the movie, which is odd. The one last thing I'll talk about is Justin Long in this film. He plays a lawyer, and it's a similar part to Drag Me to Hell, which is also like his girlfriend, and she's involved in something supernatural, and it kind of wigs him out. And in that film, he plays a professor, and it's so weird to me. Like, directors are looking at Justin Long, and like they're really seeing like a bookish, nerdy type, like, that would play a lawyer and a professor. Like, he doesn't really resonate in those kind of parts. It's weird that I have such a different perception of him. He seems kind of like a goofball. Like, I could see him playing a stoner. Or, like, in that, I think he's played, like, a gay porn star in a movie before. Like, that I could see, but not a professor and a lawyer. It just doesn't make sense. So, anyway, kind of a mixed bag. It's not a terrible film. If Christina Ricci naked for 90 minutes sounds good to you, by all means, check it out. Netflix streaming. It's called After.Life. And that is today's LonsTV. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and I will see you